We start in the future timeline. Trunks preps himself as he walks towards the time machine parked at the back of Capsule Corporation. Thanks to past Bulma delving deeply into the construction of the androids by Dr. Gero, he was able to devise a device to stop the androids, the emergency stop circuit. Using this, Trunks had managed to take care of the androids in his timeline. He was now gonna go to the past timeline one last time and inform the Z Fighters of the good news. However, things were not meant to be. Trunks spots a green-looking creature. Its key was strange, peculiar, yet familiar in some way. However, it was sinister. Trunks didn't doubt for a second that this creature in front of him was evil. Trunks immediately tenses up, pulling out his sword. However, it was all for naught. Cell kills Trunks, leaving his lifeless body on the floor. Cell then inputs the time he wants to travel back into the time machine. However, in his excitement, he mistypes a single number. As Cell retreats into his lava state in order to fit into the time machine makes its way into the past. However, instead of age 763, which was where Goku at first met Trunks, Cell instead finds himself in age 743, 20 years before where he was supposed to arrive, long before even the events of Dragon Ball Z. Goku is only 6 years old at this time and is living happily with his grandpa Gohan. Dr. Gero was still working with the Red Ribbon Army and has not yet even started his plans on Cell or Android 17 and 18. Cell realizes this and roars in frustration. As the entire Earth shakes from Cell's power, this is where we'll start off the what if for today. Let's get straight into it. Grandpa Gohan looks out the window of his house. There was an earthquake just a few days ago that caused many trees surrounding Mount Paozu to fall. It was a natural disaster. However, somehow it just didn't really feel natural to him. Grandpa Gohan shrugs it off as he makes his way towards his grandson, Son Goku. Today was a full moon, and Grandpa Gohan wanted to bring Goku out for stargazing. As he contemplated the beauty of the moon, he didn't know that that would be the last night he ever got to do so. Well, that's how it was supposed to go. However, Cell's arrival would change things up significantly. Meanwhile, Cell continues his aimless wandering. He didn't know what to do. He had regained his imperfect form and had started absorbing countless people in his conquest for more power. However, he had to wait for another 20 years if he was ever going to become perfect. He contemplated going to Dr. Gero and forcing him to construct the androids earlier. However, he dismissed the notion afterwards. Dr. Gero took nearly 20 years to complete his research on Android 17 and 18, so coercing Dr. Gero now wouldn't bring him much closer to perfection either. He had also entered Capsule Corporation to threaten Dr. Briefs to help him fuel the time machine. However, even though Dr. Brief was a genius, a time machine was still something far out of his expertise. And Bulma currently was still a teenager, and there was no way he had the experience or knowledge to help at all. Cell was in an impasse, a deadlock with no way to progress forward. That was when he suddenly felt a key signature. Nothing crazy powerful. In fact, it was insignificant compared to him. However, it was still much larger than the average human. Suffice to say, this greatly piqued Cell's interest, as he started flying in the general direction of it. The closer he got, the more familiar the clean signature felt. It was Goku's. Cell arrived in the vicinity of Mount Paozu, and all he saw was destruction everywhere, and in the midst of it, a giant monkey, a giant great ape. That was when Cell remembered. In Dr. Gero's creation of Cell, he had implanted the memory of Goku and Vegeta's fight in the Saiyan saga in his minds, and he knew from that fight that Saiyans had with the power to turn into a great ape, multiplying their power tenfold. Meanwhile, Grandpa Gohan was trying his best to evade Goku's attacks. Grandpa Gohan was nimble and quick on his feet, and had multiple opportunities to attack the clumsy Grade 8 Goku. However, he refused to do so, as he did not want to hurt the little child. Not knowing how to disable Goku's transformation, all Grandpa Gohan could do was dodge and leave, and hope he could outlast Goku's transformation. However, a misstep causes Grandpa Gohan to stumble, and as he looks up, a huge brown foot starts to crash down onto him. Grandpa Gohan closes his eyes, smiling, accepting his impending death. However, 1, 2, no 3 seconds pass, and Grandpa Gohan felt no pain or crashing sound. Instead, he opens his eyes and sees a peculiar sight. A green being literally hovering in the air, holding Goku by his tail without any effort whatsoever. Grandpa Gohan had the ability to sense ki, and this being's ki, even though feeling familiar, felt malicious at the same time. Cell swings Goku around a few times and throws him into the ground before ripping out his tail. As Goku de-transforms, Cell thinks about Dr. Gero's legacy and the reason he himself was created. It was to best this child right here in front of him. However, to do so at Goku's weakest would be a disgraceful act, even for him. So Cell chooses to spare Goku this time around. After all, his main priority was perfection, and not the defeat of Goku. However, as Cell turns around and prepares to leave, Grandpa Gohan interrupts him, asking Cell for his name, and asks Cell whether he wanted to stay for dinner. After all, he had saved him, and maybe even Goku's life. Cell whips around, looking at Grandpa Gohan with suspicion and bewilderment. Was this old man really offering him a meal? He was a green-looking, alien-like creature. Really? As Cell continues thinking about Grandpa Gohan's offer, this is where we'll leave the what if for now. How will things go on from here now that Cell is introduced in Goku's life? Will Cell just decide to kill off Grandpa Gohan right here and then? Or will he decide to spare Grandpa Gohan's life? Well, these are all questions we'll answer in the next part on Dragon Ball.